we've had troubles with gentlemen colors before, and well, we have to treat them very ungentlemanly. I hope you understand.
Ah, what misfortune to be so wanted. Well, I do hope her the best in love at the very least, but I do hope to hear of the invitation for tomorrow.
She will review it, and we'll tell you what. So, where is it you're staying at this moment?
I'm staying over here at the, and I'll describe like the place, and it's definitely a well-to-do establishment because I need it.
We'll send a runner boy to do it. So yes, thank you. And he sort of folds it in, and he folds a letter in one, and the dinars go into another pocket. It's like next time makes business with pleasure, as opposed to, he doesn't say anything. So like, okay,
I'm gonna mark off 5 on my sheet, by the way. There we go.
That's we're having a little problem with the camera setup here. So going back to Brother Vesper, after you do your pilgrimage, which takes you hours because you have to be in line to do the devotions and this and that, and then come out. Probably there's a place where you can wash your hands as well, so you can whatever else is required to be in the presence of the
usually
holy relic.
It's a very tiny little chamber that you just sit in and say your prayers and leave probably after like a mere 10 minutes.
Yeah. But it actually takes you more time to get there than actually what you're going to do when you get there.
It's more about the journey and less about the destination.
Correct. So as you're going out, do you search for Brother Jeffries, or you simply...
He probably would be helpful, but I said I was going to the library, and that's where I'm going. Armed with this letter of inquiry that I have, I'm here to find out what happened to the tablets. They're supposed to be here. If they're not here, what happened to them?
Well, they told you what happened to them.
Well, yeah, but I'm gonna go in there and this is an investigation. I go in there and play dumb and hear what they have to say. Because remember, this is ground zero. What they have to say here might not match what I was told somewhere else. Leagues later and in a different language.
True enough. You go to the library, which is basically an adjacent building. In fact, behind the cathedral, there's sort of a courtyard where it has other buildings attached to it. So the cathedral is sort of the facing of the public, but really it's an even bigger area. And the library is there. And again, people are now here. Of course, all people here are members of the Church of Sumer, with one or two exceptions, probably paladins or guards are in. And you go in. It's like, Hermano, what could we do for you?
I'm here on inquiry from the Archbishop of the Isles. In the name of the Holy See itself, I'm looking for items that were taken from this location, and they should be here, properly sequestered. These tablets, described as such.
Excellent calibraries, I must say, brother. As expected.
Your calibraries is good as well.
Thank you. I meant the letter, but Sue's as well. Please follow me. What can I do for you?
Do you want me to repeat myself?
Well, but with specifics, what are you looking specifics? Are you looking for a sweet physical
I'm looking for these tablets. Provide them for me, so I may examine them.
We do not. Hangzhou takes you aside, and we actually do not possess.
I'm sorry. Speak up. I'm hard of hearing.
Possess these specific tablets. You see, rumor has it that they were seized in a raid somewhere up north. Yes, seized in a raid against the.
So they were here, but they were moved, and in the process of being moved, they were lost.
No, you don't.
Is that what I'm hearing?
The paladins, they went in. Sometimes we have to sort of trim the hedges, as we would like to say, and so we go against the people, the sun worshipers. And in one of these raids, apparently they found these tablets. But on the way here, they to be translated and studied, they never make it. Brigands and bandits.
Extremely curious. So you only have it on the authority of the paladins that the tablets were here and then lost by northern bandits. Do you have their testimony? Can I review that?
Yes. Of course. It's every sign and everything. Everything has to be official. We wouldn't. Of course. Come on. Yes. Follow me. Any text and there's basically a book which has the sort of the documents, copies therein, which are signed, and also has the individual, the scrolls which are individual as well. And they seem to be fair. It has like 3 wax seals for each one of the paladins, including the fact that there's a document of one of the paladins fell in combat trying to protect us.
Have these documents taken to the scriptorium and have them copied?
Very well, yes. As you're reviewing them, there's also a battle log. There's the legal document saying we went to this mission. This is what these are the things that we seized, and these are the things that we lost. Right, a legalese, right? They swear that they have done these things. We also spy copies of basically a battle report, which doesn't have the wax seals. It's just a report. And one of the things is that fire magic in Calabrese, in older Calabrese, that, for example, fire magic was used, and that's one of the things that apparently killed the paladin.
Yeah, it's pretty deadly.
Yeah, he was burned alive.
But they said they were ambushed, and there's no report that their ambushers were flying any colors or swearing any cause.
No.
And it's just fire magic, which could be almost anything. It could be heliodrome activity, but it could also be elementalists. It could even be pagans. They know how to use fire.
You do have stats, skills that allow you to. What's the stat that allows you to take which kind of magic it is?
Well, the problem is, of course, it's a third-party description. So I have to go by the clues of what they put in the report to find out what it is. Because you know what it's like, if the other person just says fire magic, but doesn't say what they saw, like whether it was a fireball, target attack, a hedge that burst into flame, if they don't provide those details, I wouldn't know. So if you want to make rolls to try and figure this out, I can do that.
Yeah, you can do the rolls.
I would suggest that this would be mind, inquiry, and supernatural.
Indeed.
Okay, so that works.
That was the other thing I was thinking was supernatural.
Right. Because inquiry is the skill of looking at people's testimony and separating fact from fiction. Of which I have none. Because I'm not that kind of wizard.
Well, at least you can make a copy of it and take it to someone else later.
That's why I said let's get the scriptorium so we can do this later so we can have evidence. But, with 2 successes from some of the descriptions, I could rule a couple things out. We can rule out the Zhongis because, as people have frequently pointed out, they have extremely few fire spells.
Yeah, you go to the scriptorium. It takes some time for them to make the copies and the like.
Right.
But as you're watching, is one of the descriptions is one of the assailants roared in anger, covered themselves in fire.
Oh, boy.
And grabbed the neck of the paladin as the paladin was stabbing him. And they were and he basically literally just burned the throat of the paladin.
That's the pay dirt right there, because that's the mantle of fire, which is a it's a high level elementalism that is highly associated with the heliodromes. So that even though they'll still teach it to you, it's got that kind of negative connotation. So it's usually only used with the heliodromes. There is a pagan spell that does that too, though. So I'm just gonna have to put this in the evidence locker. And since they were in the north is infested with pagans. So who knows? But that's definitely something to file in there. That's a high level magic.
And also that apparently after this attack happened and this person was wounded, someone else did a spell that, they think it didn't get a spell, but allowed them to escape. That one is not very well.
No, and that would be hard. And like, there's a couple spells that do that. So
In fact, it's
those
more
are hard to document because and then they got away. We don't know how. Possibly magic.
Yeah, since they got attacked openly by magic as well as also weapons, including one soldier carrying a flamberge, right? A great sword with the wavy lines.
That's in the report.
Yes.
Well, if it's not heliodromes because that's their signature weapon, then it's people pretending to be heliodromes.
The what's really curious is this other possible magic that allowed them to escape, right? Because they killed one of the paladins, killed some of the other guards, and took some of the stuff that was actually the stuff was coming from a raid in suspected pagan holding, right? Not just heliodrome, but other pagan, groups as well. So
well, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you might believe in the apostasy, the secret conspiracy to take down the church of a network of necromancers, heliodromes, pagans.
So they were doing their job, and then they got attacked. It's one of the reasons why paladins usually go in these missions, because they decide not only to do the raids, but also to protect all the stuff that has to be cataloged. Someone gets destroyed because it gets stored, etc. But yeah.
A lot of this jibes, well, this is extremely distressing news. So it would take hours, if not days, to have these copied by hand. So after I go ahead and set that up, if there's no, I have nowhere to go unless either Jeffrey takes me to dinner or until Lord Gregory sends a page to fetch me and tell me where he is.
Yeah, Jeffrey will probably be back because Jeffrey actually is searching for you. When you're in his praetorium, he's searching for you. Like, oh, brother, come on.
I'm hard to miss in the library. Once again, Brother Jeffrey. All of this work today has exhausted my strength. I need fortification.
Yes. I have brought these things up, and he basically has news because I'm very interested in what you have discovered or learned in these different pagan religions. And he starts babbling about the difference between the old church and the new church, and he's just constantly badgering with questions about what you have learned and what you've done, what you've seen. Is it as bad as it is in Calabria, dealing with and as bad?
Oh, it's worse.
And so
I've only been here a couple hours, and I already know it's way worse in the Isle.
He takes you to a bar called the Serpent's Veil, and it's the.
Well, I was hoping for a proper establishment, but beggars can't be choosers.
The food is good, the wine is excellent, and
that's what's important.
And the ladies of different species wear very little.
That's not as important.
You see that Brother Jeffrey's between talking to you and being very excited to talk to you, because this is like an author doing research, and you're now his primary source of research. He explained to you he's actually writing a book. He's writing a book about these things, right?
Are you writing a report about the dark morals of these people here who wallow in debauchery? I say it's like glut myself on rich food.
Yeah, and he does the thing where when one of these ladies come in, he does sort of stare, but as soon as she leaves the table, he's like, oh, okay, he's back into and he says to himself, mutter himself, Calabrian, see, don't touch. So our brother Jeffrey doesn't seem to be as pure as he should be. Maybe
by the way, when I left the church, I leave. Actually, I couldn't leave anyone because I don't have any establishment. No, I'm just here with Jeffrey. We're gonna get drunk.
Yeah. So you're getting drunk with Jeffrey, and he's actually asking you more questions. He zeroes in on the peculiarities, like, oh, there seems to be some commonality between Europagan, the so-called Druids here in Calabria, up in the north. There too tend to be wolves as well. Perhaps there was an earlier, invasion. Perhaps, migration there. Persecutions or civil wars. How to investigate that?
Who can say? Pagans are a dark and superstitious lot, and the mendacious forces that prey upon their feeble and weak wills are prevalent all over the globe.
True. But if we can learn about them, then we can illuminate what they do, and so bring the light, and cast away superstition, and bring them into the true knowledge of Samaria.
Well, I wouldn't want to be so quick to write them off as they believe what they believe. And I have come this far because they believe that these tablets or something unlock something greater in their history. How the tablets got here is a bit of a well, not too much of a mystery, but I need to acquire these to find out what is there. The important thing is that all people of this world strive for a better one, to overcome the darkness of their own souls and to rise up to something greater. And in that, we are all brothers and sisters.
So you were having the conversation about the nature of what is true nature of belief and all that, and striving for betterness and forgiveness and the light and place in the heavens and paradise, in paradiso, after everything is done here on mortal coil. Everybody sheds their mortal coil. Meanwhile, our friend Duncan has found the shop.
Yes, I did, after seemingly just disappearing.
Yes. And so you knocking. Actually, the door is open. There's some clients coming in, and you find people. Most of the people here, what they're buying are like little statues and little curios to adorn their homes. Right. This seems to be this is what the shop does. In fact, outside as you come in, there's racks of like little wooden statues and other things. Probably made locally, but they could be from across Calabria. I even see a couple of things that also could be from the Isles as well. You even see a snake, a Jade statue, which is a snake. That one has that one is high on the shelf, so it looks expensive. That clearly is either from the Isles or, as far as you're seeing, anywhere here.
Yeah, that's probably from a foreign country that I barely know about, like Zhongao. Is the first thing that comes to mind, because I know they're called like the Jade Isles or something like that.
And it has a series of symbols that look like chicken scratches on the bottom of the almost squarish. So it's like each one appears to be a letter, but it has like multiple scratches. And apparently, Brother Vesper is getting drunk and so
drunk and psychedelic.
Yeah, having a party rave right there. So behind the counter is a cat, a domestic cat.
He's not a fox. Yes. Hello. I'm looking for Louise. Is he here today?
Oh yes, Master Louise. Just a moment.
Thank you.
And he sort of goes in the back, and there's some curtains, and it's like comes out. What can we do for you? So.
Yes, hello. Master Louise, as you could probably tell, I'm not from around here. But I am curious about your shop. I've noticed like a lot of lovely knickknacks and statues and items here. I was wondering if you have anything from the Isles.
Oh, yes, we do. And he says something kind of very, very quick, kind of which you kind of hard to pick up. And he's like, and the cat goes out, and he brings a box, and he
I do have listen. I do have listen, if that matters, if I can hear it.
You hear it. It's just it's so quick, and it's not your first language.
True.
Essentially, it seems something. What you get out of it, the intent is that he's just giving him some instructions, right?
Okay.
And he comes back, and there's a sort of wooden box, and he opens it, and you see basically a collection of what appears to be first rocks, but they really are what's called prayer stones. Like they're basically miniature menhirs, right? We have the circles and the patterns, pagan patterns. We have a lovely collection of these. They're very popular here. People like to put them in the corner and pretend that they are, kind of shrines or something.
This is quite interesting. Where did you get these?
I got them regular from the Isles. I ordered them. They're people who just carve.
I don't have sense motive, so this is going to be a very bad. I'm just going to assume he's not lying.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do you have any like larger prayer stones like this? Maybe like a tablet size or something of that nature?
No. Those are very difficult to move. Very heavy. In fact, you've seen this. I mean, these are stones that are used in the Isles as sort of to set up small shrines in the home.
Oh, of
right?
course, yes. Yeah, no,
So,
I'm aware of what these are. I would assume, yeah.
and they're hefty, right? The difference here is that usually in the aisles they just be the stone, and you might put flowers and something like that, and they can come different sizes, right? But here they're put in a wooden base,
Mm.
so that you can just sort of put them there as opposed to have them a stone that could slip or something, because people are not used to how to properly put them here. Just a
Yes.
curio, right? It'll be 5 denarii for each. Maybe you require to do your not to be too intrusive. You require one for your own practices, perhaps.
Um, yeah, in a way, yes. That's why I was actually seeing if you had something larger. I was kind of looking for more of the Druidic variety, if that makes any sense to you. Do you know the Druidic language? Are you aware of it?
Oh, I do buy curios, but I do not know of any of these pagan traditions. It's not something I concern myself with. I'm a devout member of the Church of Salamea, a light, as we all should. I mean, I do not wish to impose upon you, sir. And like some other people, I actually do believe people should be free to worship as long as they don't anger or hurt other people.
I mean,
But
that sounds perfectly fair to me.
yes, but not everybody thinks that. So don't spread that out.
Would it be bad for business if you said that out loud?
You see that when he says that, the cat is sort of fidgeting, like, yeah, you get that look, like, yeah, I don't know,
Yeah, I caught that look.
yeah, good. I mean, I like to accommodate my clients, but not everybody in the city is so accommodating. I mean,
Do you
these
know
things
her?
are fine, but
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I also don't carry it. I don't have the space, and they're heavy. I mean, they're stone, so there is that.
Just out of curiosity, by chance, do you know anybody who would carry those type of tablets?
No, not really. I know some nobles like to commission or try to get more expensive, the more rarer stuff. Uh, and I've done some trades I like in the past, got
Oh,
something,
really?
but never tablets. Not the thing that I trade. Like I said, they're very heavy, very difficult to justify putting in the hold of a ship. You know.
What about that giant jade snake over there? Where'd that come from?
Oh, that comes from the wild east. It's a land of jungles and beautiful things. And I do not know much about it. It's supposed to, if you rub the bottom, it's supposed to give you good luck.
Really?
I haven't found someone to translate the language itself, but it is beautiful. It is also very expensive. It's about if you're interested, it's about I could make a price. I mean, usually I offer it about 500 dinars, but you know, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't been able to move it. So 350, perhaps, if you're interested.
Would you be willing to maybe trade it for some, I guess, some jewelry?
What do you have? I usually
That's what
don't
we should
trade
ask.
in Europe, but go
Well,
ahead.
and I go and I open up my little chest of stolen jewelry because, yeah, I have these rings, which I believe might actually be holy rings of some kind. I'm actually not sure. A friend of mine gave these to me, and I'm basically lying through my teeth right now.
He looks at them. He even takes a little monocle. It's like, I'm not really sure. I would have to consult an expert on these. Perhaps you can bring them tomorrow, and I can have my friend look at them.
Sure.
They can tell me the price. I would love to make the exchange, but I will have to make sure that I can actually sell them forward to as a profit. You understand?
Oh, I understand completely. That's perfectly fair. I can definitely come by tomorrow. I could also maybe bring some other folks I'm with that we basically traveling through. I'm sure they would actually be interested in purchasing a stone or two. The prayer, excuse me, the prayer stones as well from you. In fact, if it's okay with you, I'd like to buy 2, please, right now.
Oh, and he gets some, well, not paper because paper would be expensive.
Yeah.
But he sort of try to put them in a little box, smaller box. Like, oh yeah, here you go. So 10 dinars.
Thank you, and
Get
I
right
give
to
him
it.
I give him the 10 dinar.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for yours. I actually look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yes, we open at sunrise and close at sun. Well, tomorrow will be closed, but tomorrow is a holiday. So it'll
Oh,
be
it
the
is.
day
What
after
holy
that.
day?
It is just the day of Dimanche, Dimanch, which in the city, the Solomere insists that there will be no exchange of money or goods and services. So. Yeah.
Interesting. I was not aware that we arrived on a day of a holy day.
Oh, that would be tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, close enough. Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for that information. I do appreciate it. So maybe the day after?
Yes, of course. If you have more people who are interested, forgive me for asking this. Do you come as refugees?
Refugees?
Yes, we had some
Oh,
refugees.
you mean
from
because of what's going on with the Isles? More so, not refugees. No, we have at least some means. It's more so we're just trying to get away for a little while. Let's say.
And you see the cat going like, sounds like refugees to me.
Well, refugee implies that we are poor, destitute, and desperate. I can say at the very least for myself, I am not.
Of course not. We would not imply that. Forgive me.
No, it's quite all right. I mean,
employees can be so mouthy sometimes.
It's okay. I've had people outside spit on me already. You're perfectly fine.
Oh, that should never happen in our beautiful city.
Oh, no.
You and your coin are always welcome in this establishment. Do not.
I do.
And if you see any of these rude people, point it out to me so we can met the proper justice.
Oh, I mean, I can point out some of them right now if you really want. Like, first off, there was this weird looking bat fella that was just like 6 feet tall, hanging out like upside down, just like snarling at me. It was pretty bad. And this is me now trying to get into a gossip roll to see if I can glean any information about him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because that's the
about who, the bat or the
Oh no, not the bat. About our shopkeep here. Like maybe I can if like something or about him slips. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It's gonna seem like you got a strong shoulder and could beat him up. You've been in the military, right?
Go ahead, make your roll.
Would this be mind or will?
This would be. Are you trying to smooth your way out of him slipping something, or are you trying to impress upon him that he should give you the information?
I would be more so like trying to impress upon him. So like I'd be probably going for more the passion route is the way I would think.
Yeah, so that would be will. Yeah.
Oh, good. That's my better die. All right. I got an 8.
He's gonna try to resist. He seems to be someone who is. He also
gets an 8. Screened it out. So
yeah. So you get back and forth, and the only thing you get out of him is that yes, this is a brat. They're always looking for money. You would think the church would take care of these bratty children, but they don't. In fact, the other day I saw them taking people out of the steps, the poor and the destitute. Who else is going to feed them? I'm not going to feed them. I better have money to feed myself.
That's actually
I give alms when I go. I mean, I don't go to the cathedrals, it's very important. But I do give alms in local parish. I mean, that's what the church of man is supposed to be. Bring the light and all that nonsense.
Is it related to the holiday tomorrow?
Could be.
Like, would they like trying to make it look good for them for that one day, and then like everybody comes back or something?
Probably these children.
Although I guess
from the woodwork here.
That does seem pretty odd that they would not be taking care of like children and all the other folks that need it.
I mean, I know my local parish; they do actually do this. I know the priestess there her heart is as large as her soul, and she has a very large soul.
What parish is this, if I may ask?
And she gives you, the lamentations of the saints, basically, is the name.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And you see the cat going like, yes, he has as large a soul as her belly. No, do this. And again, very quickly, when in Calamity, it's like, do not do this in front of the customer.
It's quite all right, Luis. It's I like to consider myself at least a very down to earth individual. It takes a lot to offend me.
And she's another customer comes in. It's like, oh, forgive me, honest customer. We have more people. If you have anything else, you give me a moment, and I will to you.
No, I think we're good. I will come back.
As you turn around, the customer is looking at something, probably looking at the Jade statue, and you're turning around. But you're very perceptive. You actually hear it, and you hear that whack as as the cat gets buffed behind the ears, like ah.
Yeah, that cat's playing with fire.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got 2 prayer stones and a little information, but not much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Spencer, just like the cathedral, the school you're going to is very impressive, although of a different sort. Not quite like the university, although you can see the resemblance to university in Cair Corwin. But the university in Cair Corwin is more open to more disciplines. This is clearly a place for magic. You see a lot of people with robes, especially mostly purple, green, and red, coming in and out. Some of them have staves or staves. Some of them have other implements, etc. But most of them are coming in and out. What are you going? What is your attack plan here? Remember, you're a foreigner here. Nobody knows you, so.
Right, he would go to. Assume they would have a reception area, and he would go there to ask for for the head of the antiquities department.
Yes. A young lady. She is she is actually a donkey, and she comes up to you. It's like, how can we help you, sir? And she sounds like somebody from the Isles. Very low voice. How can I help you, sir?
Oh yes, I was come here on a mission to seek some antiquities, specifically from the Isles.
Oh, our collection here is not that extensive, sir. We do have some, what I would personally categorize as some knickknacks. But if you're missing something, from the Isles, then we can accommodate. Is there anything specific you're looking for, sir?
Well, I was looking for more information than the actual item, unless it did happen to be here. I'm looking for some tablets that are rumored to have been involved in the rending of the Isles.
Oh, this is the first time I've heard of it. Perhaps the curator can help you with that, but that would be very interesting, something like that. I've never seen it, and we have a very extensive collection. Perhaps the curator can help you. And she turns around and sort of to the curator. The curator is a board, and he's like tiny, like even to you, he's very small, like very compact. It's like it's almost like a goat spear, right, growing, and he has purple robes. So he turns around and is like, "What is it, Lydia? What is it? What is going on here? What's going on? What do you want?"
Well, I've come here seeking information, good sir.
And who you are? Are you wearing your robes, or are you wearing just?
Oh, he's wearing his robes. If he's going to Dunwester, he wants them to know he means business. He's got the headband on and everything.
Ah, yes. Of course, a fellow member of. Yes. But I haven't seen you before, have you? No, I have not seen you before.
I come from Cair Corwin, my friend.
Oh, yes. My name is Lou. Lou of the Mind's Eye, they call me. And LU, in fact, you recognize the fact that his features are not either Calabrese or from the Isles. In fact, he seems to be squinting almost, you know, mostly because apparently he doesn't have any glasses. I mean, I apologize. I do not have my glasses, is what. And my Calabrese is not so good. I try. I've been decades here, so I picked up the accent. And my Calabrese is not so good.
Well, I've only just learned the language myself, sir, so there's no... it doesn't bother me. So, have you heard the legend that the Isles used to be one landmass?
No, I do not. No, I don't think so. I've heard of rumors of cataclysmic events many centuries ago, but I did not know the Isles might have been affected by. Is there anything specific you're looking for?
I'm looking for information on a magical, or yeah, I do believe it would be a magical artifact. A set of stone tablets that were used to cast a working over the Isles, which turned them from one to many smaller landmasses, and I was hoping that there would be some information within your archives about this.
I do not recall any such a thing. I wish I could. However, were this to happen, I'm sure that we here in Columbia would have seen some effects of it. I mean, just not Massachusetts don't disappear like that and have no effect. Let me look.
Yes, there were probably great waves and storms that hit this island here.
Yeah.
Probably caused much devastation.
10, actually 2d8. See, it's mind and investigation and scholarly. Also scholarly. Got a 4. He basically looks at old history books, essentially of like outer, coastal areas. He pulls up a map and he starts asking questions about this and charts, and he sort of starts making. It takes a couple of hours for him to start doing, and he sort of brings more people in, and it's like, oh, and so now it becomes a thing where everybody's so curious about this, like, well, this is a fascinating subject. Have anything, and make an investigation roll yourself with scholar, and so you want to rope in with that, and mind, of course.
Okay, so mind and academics.
Academics, yes.
I don't have any research or other gifts like that, I don't believe. Let me just scroll through my list real quick to make sure.
Supernatural might help, though.
Okay.
I mean, something magical. Or the effects of magic.
I don't think Mystic Condescenti would help.
Not for this, no.
Okay, and because this is a supernatural and academics role, I'm going to end up double dipping into my career, but you can actually do that in this game.
Mm-hmm.
That's either 3 successes or a 6.
Let me see. I'm looking at a map here. Yeah, you got 2 successes. That 5 is good.
So this is 5s are better, not 4s are better?
Well, the higher the better.
All right.
Yeah. See if I get. That's not.
Would a higher result be better? Like, if this is a different day than when the shade was bound, I would like to maybe add not in supernatural, I mean my personality to this.
Yeah, it's a different. I mean, it's been weeks since that happened. So
Okay. Well, that's another 5.
okay. So, yeah, so you are getting. You do find records of very ancient records of hundreds of years ago of examples of major waves and other phenomena. Mostly, let me see. I'm looking at a map here to see if I can give you the place where it would have affected the most.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, out in the east, in the southern east part of Calabria, that's where most of the damage. In fact, the Paludistris, which is a swampy area, it looks like this, probably was very heavily affected by. So it would be in the in the eastern side of the islands of the not the islands but the islands southeast part. There's a lot of reports of sudden and multiple waves of flooding and people having to move from the coast, etc., and casualties, and even storms. That seems to track with what you found out, but that's the extent of what they have on this, right? People, what passes for history, right? Of course, historians recording, natural disasters, etc. Several hundred, nearly 1,000 years ago or so in Calabria. So there was an effect.
All right.
So there's proof that this actually happened beyond
And
what already knew.
Cape Corwin and the other isles would have been in a southeasterly direction from Calabria, so it does fit the geography.
Yes, it does.
All right.
So that you have an example of that, but aside from that, very little else. They could have had at some moment this study these tablets. They do mention that they were called by the Church of Sumer because, and this happens, and this is discussion that happens every so often. Every time they bring new artifacts from one of their raids against some pagan, something like that, they often bring one or more members of the school of Dunswasser to identify them, help them identify them, catalog them, etc. Once they are decided, sometimes not all of them are destroyed. Some of them are kept here. Some of them are kept in the church. But those who are considered, for example, to be clear necromantic are destroyed. Some of them were clear exaltations to say, to the sun, something like that, which are clearly fanatical or something like that might also be destroyed or in storage. Yeah, heliodromes. But aside from that, and they did get a letter to be to wait because they were expecting, another group of documents and the like, but they never actually got the final confirmation. The way the church does is like when they're expecting something, they send a letter saying, "Hey, we're expecting in a couple of days for this to happen," and then we'll send a final confirmation. So to make sure that they have somebody available essentially the beck and call of the church when they need them, right? According to the church, this stuff is inherently dangerous and pagan, and therefore, with as soon as possible. Almost like they were dealing with, radioactive waste. So you get those two pieces of information that yes, there was an effect here from actually, I said it wrong. It should be north, but still, there was one. Instead of being south, actually, I was my mistake. But besides that, yeah, But still, it's confirmation that there was flooding and effects there as well, and that they were on call, as it were, to study some new artifacts that have been. But strangely, they never got the message to. It might be the people here in the Water, they have their own. They're doing their own things, experiments and studies and all kinds of things. So. After a while, they're like, well, whoever they were assigned to this, they would have said, oh, we'll wait. And if they come, they'll come. They just keep working on whatever it is they're working, right?
There's always something on their plate.
Yeah. So, and this library, even compared to the university, is massive. This place, and there's you see first printings of books that you only seen, like the book of the book, right? Stuff like that. It's like, you read a book in the Isles, and it mostly makes reference to this book, which there's not in that library, but it's in this library. So this would be a perfect place to study even more Spanish outside of personal experimentation.
Right. Definitely want to make some time to do that later, though we're on the job right now. Mm-hmm. But at least it, does tell him that there was a cataclysm here too, and an expected artifact that never arrived, if I read what you're saying correctly. So he does at least have that to go by.
But the specifics of these tablets or anything connected, in fact, as you're leaving, now you sort of drop this mystery on these mages, and they're all curious about what kind of magics could do this, and they ask you more questions like, what do you know about this particular? And you have different accents. Some of them are even from the Isles, right? Like the young lady that helped you originally. Like, they're asking you, what do you know about these magics? Magics that can do these is sink entire islands. We heard of some pagans that can do this. In minor scale, but an entire island be sunk like this. I mean,
he'll tell them what he knows, and he'll explain that he thinks that it might have been done by tapping into the natural ley lines of the island itself to, spread the magic like butter over bread, basically.
They pick a book, there are a couple of books that actually talk about leylands, but most of those books talk about leylands in Calabria as being theoretical, as opposed to be, but you have concrete proof that they're leylands. And they start talking about each other, and it's like, we have to send an expedition. We have to study this firsthand. This will be interesting. Do you know anybody we can liaison at your university? Right? That's the thing. You have a university. You have some people of learning there, of course. Not everybody's an ignorant noob.
Well,
I don't wish to insult. It's just that we hear these rumors about, non-Calambrians, dirty peasants and all that.
Well, much of our magic is taught by the universities, which are run by the church. I was privately trained.
You have old private tutors as well. That's very interesting. And they just rope you in, and they're asking, just like it happened with Vesper, they just keep asking questions and bringing out books, and the piles of books get bigger because they're all talking about this. And you're into not the early hours of the morning, but certainly a couple of hours. Actually, the sun falls down. Eventually, Master Lou says, all right, everybody out. Need to clean this place up. And he orders several of the books to be put inside so that tomorrow, because he knows they're going to come back, do more study. He just dropped a massive question in the hands of dozens of wizards, and they're just like, we have to know more, right? He just became an instant celebrity, right?
In fact, Spencer is going to fund this expedition to some extent by giving them 100 dinar.
Oh. Yeah, they're like...
As long as they come back to him with anything they find.
Of course, and they start making lists, and they go, and they're going to talk over this, and it's like...
You're going to have to make the contract and everything.
Yeah,
only about enough for 14 or 15 wizard man days, but still a significant sum.
I mean, yeah.
And this might also be, out of character, a good way for me to eventually get the ally I'm looking for.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
doing this.
You just basically set off an expedition of wizards into a war-torn isle to look at cataclysmic events. It's just
Gee,
gonna
I
be
sure
very
hope
interesting.
these heavily armed individuals with explosive weaponry sure don't do anything in the war zone.
Yeah. I mean, they're more scholars than anything else. At least they're supposed to be.
Well, just because they're scholars doesn't mean they're not mad.
I didn't say
Quite the
otherwise.
opposite, in my experience.
Yeah,
I have an
I'm not
example of your local scholar here. I make fires
They're
everywhere.
just people who have learned so much and so well that they can make things explode with the power of their thoughts. I can't,
Yeah.
you know.
So the day passes. I guess everybody gets together again. It's like I said, it's Dimanche, which means essentially it's Sunday, right? This is the day of the week where it's sort of the holy day of the week, where there's activity, but most of the commercial activity, at least in the city, is supposed to be suspended.
Of course.
Right, because it's illegal to transact money on this day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose like in the morning we'll convene information and all that, or maybe even over dinner last night and go, all right, so the tablets were here, they were being transported, they were taken by people with magic, which I recognize and understand how dangerous it is.
Well, it depends how you define here, my lord. The tablets were never here. Paladins from the north reported they were taking them here, and then they never arrived.
Right. But it is possible maybe they're still in the city. Duncan, you haven't found where they are, or who might have
Once
them.
again, I'd like to repeat, not still in the city. They've never been in the city.
Well, if they're fire magicians, and as your suspicion is maybe they're not heliodromes, well, they'd have to be here, or maybe at that... What was the name of that other university? It doesn't come to mind. I'm sure they're not...
The Ferrobians are not allied. The Ferrobians is the Bisclave government-sponsored wizardry, because they sponsor almost every technological advance that they can. The Ferrobians... So north of here, this is the city of Triskelion, and supposedly the Rinaldi have domain over the entire valley. North of here there is the Holy Order of the Passerelles, who are a Templar order. In fact, one of the people who came to visit us was from there. And they're not too far away from the nation of the Doloro, who still practice their own pagan beliefs. So I'm assuming that from the record, they were taking it from or near Passerelle down to here. So that northern territory up there is full of weirdos, pagans, not to mention a lot of it is lawless, because it's disputed territory between here and between the Rinaldi and the Doloro. So there could be bandit kings and all sorts of weirdos hanging around. You usually have the heliodromes in the east because they're opposing the Avernapah government.
Of course. But I suppose for now, when I talk to Lady Vache, when I received my invitation today, which, did I? Lessons? That would be an important part. Okay.
Yeah,
when I talk to her later today, perhaps she might have a better idea of who exactly these ruffians could be, or where they may have gone afterwards, because that could give us a very immediate trail to follow, rather than going out into the middle of the woods and trying to trace their footsteps or something. So that'll be my task for the day, and it sounds like the rest of you are simply having fun researching.
No, I think I would agree. I think now is the time for foot action. Whoever stole it is, I mean, whether they ally themselves with a much more powerful political force later, whoever who stole it were people in the north who were highly organized and trained enough to take upon paladins who are armed wizards. So I would think that we would want to do footwork up there. And also, to our knowledge, none of these culprits were ever caught. Some of the fire magic that's described in here, like the Mantle of Fire, is specifically only high-level magic. Only a few individuals would be capable of casting that.
Indeed. So the list of suspects is definitely very small. We just have to figure out who precisely they are, then.
In point of order, the number of a person who could cast Mantle of Fire could also bind a fire elemental. and make it, say, sail a ship.
A very good point. All the more reason to be wary of them. I know what my tactic is going to be should we ever face them, and Spencer is well prepared, I understand. The rest of you are going to have to tough that out, though. But I have a meeting with a lovely lady today, and we could go out on foot tomorrow, whether or not I learn anything. For now, do whatever you feel is useful. I believe with this invitation, I could even invite someone if they really wanted to go.
I mean, it's you and your companions, right? And you know that in these situations, it depends. I mean, you are in a foreign land, so you don't know the specifics of it, but usually in the way the nobles work is that nobles rarely travel alone. Like, you have bodyguards, you have your attendants. So even when you go to a party, you never go like just the noble, right? It's not, at least the way you're. So, for example, you bring servants. The servants are like, okay, go to the kitchens and do your part for that, right?
Okay.
So it's their way of. It's like my describing a tradition. I don't know how it happens in other places.
Right. So when going and talking to this parlor on antiquities, the two scholars here are going to be fantastic. I'm just a great and wonderful talker in the first place, and also know what to do. And Duncan, well, we're gonna have a good time.
So yeah,
I'm kind of useless to you in this one, unless if you want me to steal things.
I'd prefer maybe not until we find what we want to steal.
Well, Duncan, first of all, you are an excellent judge of character, right?
I'd like to think so.
Okay, so you can at least assist us when we're talking to people, because the insights into people's souls, and especially the mendacity that they're capable of, is something that might be unfathomable to less worldly folks like ourselves.
In other words, people might be lying.
I was trying to be nice about it, but yeah.
Well, then I think it's decided. Today is a day of rest, not spending money, and not doing work. And I intend to do absolutely none of it, and you all are coming with me.
What time is the appointment?
It's in the evening, about after sunfall, so about 7 or 8 o'clock.
You've got time.
Well, of course you're going to rent a coach and arrive in that as befitting your station, my lord.
Oh, absolutely. I have to make a good impression.
Then send the coach to
do that when it's a holiday.
Actually, a very common practice here is to rent palanquins. So
let's see. The palanquins are rent. You could probably do like 3 denarii. Like the city's not too big.
Well,
but again, how are you gonna do that?
Yeah, I'm with Robert.
Drat, a palanquin doesn't help me because a palanquin only carries you. I want to get a coach. So
no, it carries 2 people. The rest of you all can walk.
To second Robert's concern here, who are you going to give the money to rent it?
The service?
Yeah, but if you can't exchange money, how are you going to give them money?
What do you mean I can't exchange money? I just handed out 5 denarii to someone as a bribe.
On Sunday.
On Sunday.
Well, I would assume I told you it's a holiday.
Oh,
right?
They're having the party on Sunday because it's a baller move. Because they want to see how rich you are. If you own a carriage, you can show up. But since the ceremony is on Sunday, you can't rent one.
Oh no. I've been played for a fool. Exactly what I am this whole time.
I think I can help you.
All right.
I said think. I don't guarantee anything.
Well, it's more thinking than I can do.
Well, it's going to just involve me stealing a carriage, but
they want to laugh at the foreign provincial. Well, see, my lord, you're not supposed to ask him. A bit of etiquette here. When Duncan says he's going to do something, don't ask him what it is. That's
okay.
Possible deniability.
Oh, wait, you're right. It's that thing that keeps me from apprehending criminals all the time. How could I forget?
I'm not that evil. Excuse you.
I never said evil. I just said criminal.
We didn't say we didn't say evil. We said criminal. There's a difference.
That's true.
One's a job and another's a judgment.